Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Jam Cave Studio, here deep inside the heart of the Jazz Mountain. And damn, it has been a while. It's been since New Year's that we last released a show, and that was Hot Springs Time Machine 1970. Pretty fun one, so check that out. But yeah, it's been about 6 weeks, and usually it's only 2 or 3 weeks between Jazz Mountain episodes. So sorry for the delay, but y'all know how it is. Life gets crazy, work's been nuts. I was down in Mexico jamming with Fish, so that week was out, and then the week after that I was entirely exhausted, so that week was out too. A couple other things have just popped up, but never fear, we are back at it here and going to spin a really good one for you tonight. This is going to be Jam Cave Sessions Volume 2, and what that means is that it's all going to be music that we have here in the Mountain Archive. So this series is all going to either be spun on vinyl or played on CD. So I'm happy to say that we own all of this music and have therefore given our business to all these amazing and deserving jazz musicians who actually probably need it too because, well, let's be honest, jazz is not exactly a lucrative profession anymore. And it's sad because there's some of the best musicians playing some of the best music on the planet. But yeah, it's just hard to make ends meet as a jazz cat anymore. And granted, most of these guys that we're going to play have since passed on because it's going to be that funky, weird, psychedelic jazz for this episode. So 60s and 70s is mainly what we're looking at here. So these guys are mostly gone. But, you know, it's the spirit of the thing that matters, right? We're going to play music that we own because it's good to support the arts. And making this show is kind of fun for me as a DJ too because I'm forced to play only things that I own in my collection. So on the one hand, I have to delve really deep and get to know my collection really well. And on the other hand, it's kind of like working under a pressure cooker or something. I'm a little bit limited in scope, and therefore it kind of forces my hand. So it's a good time because it's like, what do you got? And let's play the best of the lot, and let's go. And I think it's going to be a really good show tonight. We're going to try to weave together a nice tapestry of sound for you. We hope we pull it off with some good transitions and take you on a journey to tons of different places and spaces that blow your mind. And here we go. Let's start things off with a little Japanese jazz. And let me tell you what, I have been obsessed with Japanese jazz recently. I stumbled upon this compilation on Spotify called J-Jazz, which is compiled and curated by a guy named Yusuke Ogawa, who's a journalist and DJ from Japan, and the guy just totally gets it. I love all his picks on these compilations. There's 4 volumes, and I think I listened to them straight through without listening to anything else in the meantime. I just delved so deep, and it opened up a door, and I walked right through it and haven't looked back since. And one of the reasons I like Japanese jazz so much is that, like in the 70s in particular, in Japan, jazz is still pretty badass and raw. So in America in the 70s, on the other hand, jazz was still great because you have people like Miles Davis, Freddie Hubbard, Herbie Hancock all still at it. But I have to say that like it just gets a little bit synth heavy and overproduced and kind of cheesy. But in Japan during this era, it still stayed true to its roots, and it's more my style. It's just really raw and kind of grounded and earthy and just like super soulful or something. And so tonight, to start the show, we're going to drop the needle on an album from 1975 called Green Caterpillar by the keys player Masaru Umada, who's a really legendary guy, and as far as I can tell, one of the jazz greats in Japanese history, basically. And it shows because his playing is masterful. He kind of became more famous as a trio musician, but then eventually he starts to get more into like fusion and modal jazz and stuff like that. And that's what this track is. It's track 1, side 1 on the album. It grooves really hard, and I think it's in the Dorian scale. I looked it up, which kind of gives it like that open, relaxed feel, but it gets pretty funky too, you'll see. It starts off a bit more slow and soft for sure, but then really picks up, especially when the improv kicks in, starting with Masaru Umada on the Rhodes, and then Kazumi Watanabe on the guitar, and then Isu Fukui on the bass, I guess. They all 3 take solos and it wails. And sorry if I'm butchering these Japanese names, they're really hard. I do not speak Japanese, I have to say, but I'm trying my best, so we'll see if I get like fact checked on how to actually say these guys' names. I'm probably way off. But anyway, without further ado, how about we get it going, guys? Some Japanese jazz, baby. Masaru Umada from 1975. Thank you for listening, and this is a great way to get things going. This is Jazz Mountain. Thanks for listening. Here we go. All right, so that was Masaru Imada, Trio Plus Two. And the plus two refers to the two extra musicians he has above and beyond his normal trio, and that's Kazumi Watanabe on guitar and Yuji Imamura on the congas and percussion, providing that funky vibe in the background there. He really lays it down, eh? Solid modal jam, so that means it kind of has that hypnotic, almost trance-like feel to it, if you know what I mean. And I also love how the song structure is like so simple, and yet all the players just rip on top of that beat and basic chords. And I really wish DJ Gray could call in right now and tell us how many chords that song is. You can always tell, and I definitely can't. And that's why I'm a mere lowly DJ and not a rock star like him. But anyway, I just love the way that one makes me feel, you know? And cheers to Japanese jazz, right? I think we actually have a special here on the show coming up, and I'm thinking about calling it Jazz Mountains Turning Japanese-a. What do you think about that? It's going to be pretty sweet. I just can't stop listening to this stuff. I can't help it. It's drawing me in like a tractor beam. It's exactly what I'm going for in jazz, you know? It's super raw, groovy, heartfelt, and the playing is awesome too. These guys rule and so underappreciated and underrated, so I'm happy to bring it to you and kind of, you know, spread the love, so to speak. And actually, let's stay in Japan here for this next one. This is not a Japanese band, but it was recorded in Japan. So this is going to be VSOP The Quintet, which is basically Freddie Hubbard straight up stealing Miles Davis's second quintet. It's the exact same lineup except you swap out Freddie for Miles. And therefore, it's got one of the best lineups in jazz history because I think Miles Davis's second quintet is like my favorite jazz group of all time. Don't quote me on that because it changes sometimes, but these guys are unreal. So the lineup is the one and only Tony Williams on the drums, Ron Carter on the bass, Wayne Shorter on the sax, Freddie Hubbard on the trumpet, and Herbie fucking Hancock on the keys. And they say that Herbie was actually more or less the leader of this group, arranging and organizing stuff, and he leads a lot of the jams too, and you can hear that on this one. And this one's called Skagley from 1979. And story goes, the band was in Tokyo in 1979 playing at a jazz festival, and you can actually hear that recording as the album Live Under the Sky. Check it out, it rules. But they actually ended up staying around for a few more days and headed to the studio to record another album called 5 Stars. And this song, Skagley, is on that album. It was written by Freddie Hubbard, and I think he must have liked it because he actually ended up releasing an album called Skagley the next year in 1980. But this one comes first, and it's better. So we're going to rip this one here, and it's pretty funky, so get ready. Hope you guys enjoy this one as much as I do. This is Jazz Mountain. Let's keep the jams going. right, welcome back, everybody. And as you can hear, that's a totally different vibe than the Miles Davis second quintet, which lasted roughly from like 64 to 68. And I'm telling you, those guys are insane. They have these albums like Miles Smiles, ESP, The Sorcerer, Nefertiti, and Miles in the Sky. And they're really complex, and towards the end they get kind of fusiony, especially with Miles in the Sky. And live, they actually played a very similar set list each night, which kind of frustrated some of the fans because they didn't dig too deep into their catalog. But if you listen carefully, each time they play a tune, it's totally different, kind of like a jam band. I highly recommend Miles Davis, The Bootleg Series Volume 1 from their European tour in 67. It's some of the best music you'll ever hear, and you'll get to see what I'm talking about with the different kinds of jams for different songs. Like, you hear Footprints and it's on there like 3 or 4 times, and each time they play it, it's like a different tune entirely. So pretty sweet stuff. So unfortunately, they break up in 68, and in 76, 8 years later, you get VSOP the Quintet, and it's a totally different style. Whereas Miles' second quintet was more straight jazz, and then in the end, a little more complex and fusiony. This group, VSOP, is almost like straight funk jazz, and it sounds like it's from the 70s for sure. But 8 years later, times had changed, and music had changed. So it's kind of cool to hear these same group of guys have 2 almost totally different styles. But the one thing that doesn't change, however, is the amazing playing. That's the constant throughout. And speaking of amazing playing, how about we go back in time here, 7 years, and back to the mainland, and spin a CD here. And actually, you know what? I think we need a new verb for playing a CD. You can say spin a vinyl, but what's that same thing for a CD? You can maybe say like, we're gonna slide this in or pop this one in, or is that like a little too risque? I don't know. But anyway, I guess we're gonna play a CD. And this one is from the album Pure Dynamite by the sax player Buddy Terry. And this album is pure fucking dynamite, so the name is really true to form. This tune is called Quiet Afternoon, and it actually opens the album once again. He's got some friends with him on this one, obviously, and it's a pretty stellar group, including like 2 really big names. You got Woody Shaw on the trumpet and Stanley Clarke on the bass, who actually wrote the tune. So therefore, this one is dedicated to DJ Greg because he's a cherished bass player here on the show, and he loves Stanley Clarke, and so do I. So this one's pretty neat. It's got a few different parts to it. It kind of oscillates between like slow and fast parts. It's pretty funky and pretty deep. It's really kind of a diamond in the rough, if you ask me. And it'll take you on that journey we like to take you on here on Jazz Mountain. So let's strap in and get ready for a little bit of a longer one here. And this one is called Quiet Afternoon by Buddy Terry from the album Pure Dynamite from 1972. Let's go. Alright, so we're going to go for as good of a transition as possible here on this one. And this is going to be by the drummer Max Roach, the legend himself, and one of my favorite drummers of all time for sure. This is from the 1968 album called Members Don't Get Weary, and it's a bit more of a straight-ahead jazz number, and yet it's kind of like a meditative, introspective, soulful one, and it has an upbeat and kind of punching feel to it too, especially in terms of the drums and improv. This one's called Effie, and it was written by the bass player Stanley Cowell, named either after his daughter or his wife, depending on when or how you ask ChatGPT. Like, I have to say, ChatGPT kind of sucks for jazz. It's great for looking up certain things, like I like using it as a general Google search tool, or if you want to delve deep into certain subjects, it's great, but like it just does not know jazz. Like, it gets members of albums wrong, it gets years wrong, it gets track names wrong, and it doesn't know certain things, and it also hallucinates stuff, where it just like feeds you info because it thinks you want to hear it. I would rather have it not give me false info, and in fact, I told it that, like, stop telling me fake shit. And then it didn't tell me anything at all, so I scrapped ChatGPT for the show for the rest of it, so it wasn't great. But anyway, either for his daughter or his wife, and maybe that's why it's a pretty intimate piece. It makes me feel like Stanley's having a conversation with his wife or daughter or something like that. It's very lyrical like that, and has a sentimental feel to it for sure. And along with Max and Stanley, you got Charles Tolliver on the trumpet, one of my favorites, Gary Bartz on the sax, pretty famous dude, Jamie Merritt on the bass, and actually it says on Wikipedia and ChatGPT that he's playing electric bass, but I swear to God, it's an acoustic bass. And once again, we're gonna summon DJ Greg. Is this electric or acoustic bass? Tell me, because I do not know. I guess there are just so many questions and so few answers with just small fry here on the mic. But facts don't matter as much as the sound of the music, so let's just play this one and I'll enjoy it. We're going back to 1968 for this one. A little Max Roach and the boys for you here on Jazz Mountain. Let's hit it. right, guys, we've arrived at the title track of this show. So, big moment here. And just like last time, for the Jam Cave Session series, we're titling the show after the name of one of the tracks in the set. And last time it was called The All-Seeing Eye, after a tune by Wayne Shorter, and it wailed. And this time, we're going to call the show The Egyptian 2, after this song by trombone player Curtis Fuller from the 1978 album Fire and Filigree. And I don't really know why I decide to name these shows when I name them, other than that it sounds cool, and I think the title will be a fun theme to design an album cover around. And I mean, I really like Egyptian history and stuff, and I'm definitely a sucker for a good conspiracy theory about aliens and the pyramids and all that stuff. I'm not really sure what happened back then, but what I do know is that they had some really advanced science and technology that's kind of been lost in the annals of history, right? I mean, the pyramids were built in 2500 BC, so that's 4,500 years ago. How the hell did they do that? It's pretty fascinating stuff. And I also like how much Egyptians like cats. I feel like they knew what was up, and I really can trust them because, let's be honest, cats are gods. And I hope you guys did like the album cover with the two kitties on there. That one's for my two co-hosts here, Prince and Reba. But anyway, there's just something mystical and trippy about ancient Egypt that I really like. And this tune definitely has that kind of far off enchanting feel to it. So hope you like it. And apparently this song is kind of a sequel to the first song, Egyptian 1, that Curtis Fuller wrote when he was in Art Blakey's band in the mid-60s. It actually appears as track 1, side 1 on the album Indestructible, which was recorded in 1964 and released in 66. So that was Egyptian 1. And then 14 years later, you have the Egyptian 2 here on this album, Fire and Filigree. And they're pretty similar, but just a little bit different. And I was going to try to describe it because it's pretty neat, the contrast, but I'm actually going to go ahead and let the liner notes describe it for me because it's a little more eloquent and informative. So on the back of this album, it says, quote, "Shades of Blakey on Egyptian 2, as the horns find the song a real ball to blow on." And now it's a quote from Curtis Fuller himself. It says, quote, "It was one of the Jazz Messengers' old war horses, which I first called Egyptian 1. Its construction is modal. It's Dorian. On the earlier version, I used half a minor scale, and this time I made it elongated, like a quasi kind of feeling, like a long meter thing. I chose this approach to give us time to bring out the colors." And then the author continues, "And the band has a rainbow of colors via the group's collective palette. As on every tune on the album, Freddie waits his perfect time, just right use of cymbals, and strong melodic commitment literally pour out a galaxy of wonderful colors and tones." I like that, better than I could describe it for sure. And you'll see what he means here in a second. This song, Whales, there's a reason we chose it to be the title track of the album. A little more straight ahead jazz for you here. We might get into some funkier, weirder stuff again. But for now, let's hit some Curtis Fuller here on the show. This is Jazz Mountain, taking us back to ancient Egypt. Here we go. That was some Curtis Fuller, straight into some Charlie Rouse. Changing gears there on the fly on ya, and getting back to that funky feel here on the show, wrapping it back around to the vibe we had to start and reigniting some energy into the set. It's just a really badass groovy number, right? Especially with that hard downbeat and the guitar stylings of George Davis, who actually wrote the song. And I couldn't find out much about him, and actually I didn't recognize a single member of the group. So as tradition has it here on Jazz Mountain, if we don't really know anyone who's on the song, we're going to give them some recognition here on the airwaves. So you got a rhythm section of Martin Rivera on the bass, David Lee on the drums, Zedin Weston on the congas, Charlie Rouse on the sax, George Davis on guitar, and also Kalo or Carlos Scott on the cello, which you can hear in the beginning there. And actually later on the album, he plays a little bit more. It's pretty cool to hear some cello on a jazz album. It's a nice rare treat. And Charlie Rouse is a great player. He's mostly famous for his longtime work with Thelonious Monk, but he branches out here and experiments with some of like that post-bop, soul funk, and that follows the trend of the time in 1974 when the album came out. But we're going to get back to a bit more of straight-ahead jazz here with this next one, and we're going to drop a needle on an album from 1972 called Breakthrough, and it's an album co-headlined by Hank Mobley and Cedar Walton. And these are two giants in the jazz world, and they make a really good pair in my opinion. You got that kind of like elegant flowing style on the keys by Cedar, coupled with like Hank's kind of warm, lyrical, and like playful style, which combines for some like serious and sophisticated swing or something. It's awesome. And then you got my main man Billy Higgins back there on the kit, keeping it real and driving him hard. This one's definitely a heater, and it was actually Hank Mobley's last studio album before his lung issues from a lifetime of smoking and heroin use actually got the best of him. But anyway, he has one last hurrah here, so it's kind of his swan song, and it's a great tune. So let's hit this one and actually close down the set because we're kind of running out of time a bit. But fear not, we have a really big encore planned for you after this one. So definitely stay tuned for that. This is Jazz Mountain, Jam Cave Sessions Volume 2. Let's ride. All right, so it's encore time here on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking this wild journey with us yet again here on Jazz Mountain. And I think that last tune leads really well into this one. I'm not sure exactly why, but the two kind of flow well together or something. I was actually listening to Breakthrough and just thought of this next song, so I'm not sure if it works, but we'll see how it goes. I think it's a smooth and nice transition though. And leave it up to Charles Mingus to write a song like this, because Charles Mingus is super weird. We love him here on Jazz Mountain, definitely one of my favorites. He's a pretty good bass player, but an even better composer, and that's kind of what he's known for. He can write stuff like this that's got tons of different harmonic elements and different melodies, key changes, time signature changes, like all sorts of shit, right? Once again, I'm not a musician, but you'll hear what I'm talking about. It's pretty neat. And it kind of oscillates between what I think has to be like minor and major, but it's just got this feel of like being both happy and sad, like introspective or something, and yet adventurous, kind of gentle and yet bold. And it slows down and speeds up like 50 different times. And DJ Gray could tell us, but there's like millions of chord changes. And leave it up to Charles Mingus to write a tune like this, because he's insane. And in fact, I think he's going to be featured on these Jam Cave Sessions shows a lot here coming up, because I kind of went on a Charles Mingus binge recently and bought a bunch of vinyls and a few CDs. So we got some material to work with. So we'll see what's up with that later on. But right here, right now, this one is called Celia, and it's from the album Jazz in Detroit from 1973. And I think that like 1970s Mingus is my favorite. He was really good in the 50s and 60s too, for sure. But I think like in the 70s, he hits a new level of experimentation and refinement or something. It's so exquisite. Hope you guys dig this one. Get ready for a 20-minute odyssey. And this one makes me feel like I'm floating in outer space in the ether or something. It's got this certain dreamlike quality to it. And it was actually written for one of his wives, Celia. So maybe that's why it's got this uniquely sentimental feel to it too. And I think it's going to be a really cool way to close it down here on the show and put a cherry on top of Jam Cave Sessions Volume 2. So thank you for all of your love, focus, and attention as usual. We'll see you guys out there again soon. We appreciate you. Couldn't do it without you. So much love and peace, y'all. Take care. This is Jazz Mountain.
Roy Brooks is on drums, Don Pullen on piano, John Stubblefield on tenor saxophone, and Joe Gardner on trumpet. Thank you.